Why do you think Mr. Hess is unstable?
He has several open court cases for methamphetamines, narcotics, having a firearm after being a felon. He could still very well wind up in prison. He has I have pictures of him driving by my house, yelling for the dog. I have pictures of him going to my place of business and dumping fish guts and rotten bait into my dumpster. He purposely, when he did that, was sneaky about it, drove around the back where he didn't know that I had a camera. I believe that was on July 13th. I don't believe that that shows actions of somebody who is adult enough, grown up enough to handle the situation. I hope that, you know, Mike finds recovery and maybe some time down the road when I believe that he is in a better place, I would allow him to see Samson, but at this time, I don't think he's in a very good place. And I personally do not want him in my life.
All right, anything else you would like me to know? Mr. Hess, do you have questions for Ms. Hutari?
Yeah, what communication did you have with me when you decided you were going to call my mom and tell her whatever story you told her to get Samson back? Why is it okay to approach that and not have me involved in that whatsoever? He was my dog, after all. You gave him to me.
You were not attainable. You were in jail.
People are absolutely allowed communication in jail. There is no communication.
You can't, you're not testifying right now. You're simply just asking her questions.
I understand. So you didn't get a hold of me because you thought I was unattainable in jail?
Correct.
Okay. I heard something about being mature enough to handle this the way it should have been or something. It's ironic. So do you think you handled this the correct way?
Absolutely.
So in my head, I'm drawing a picture of, okay, Mike's in jail, regardless of why. I think it's okay to just go get Samson, even though it's his dog. I'm going to decide what's best for Samson and what's best for Mike and everybody else right now, because that's my duty, is the kind of impression I get. Am I wrong?
Yes, you are wrong.
Okay, could you clarify that for me?
Your actions showed that you were not there to take care of him. You yourself said that you were in jail for a couple of weeks. You left his care to someone else.
Okay, is that not my right? Would you leave his care to somebody else if you had to take care of something personally?
Situation is a little different. You were.
I don't think so.
You're not arguing back and forth. You're allowing her to answer the question, and then you can ask her another question.
Okay.
You were certainly not in jail of your own will.
Okay, I don't think that's relevant, but.
Are you objecting?
I am objecting, yes.
You don't think it's relevant?
That I was in jail and not of my own will. I don't think anybody volunteers to go to jail. It's not a.
No.
It's not an option program.
But yes, but it is relevant. So yes, you have to answer. Or it is, her answer is allowed.
Okay. Have you seen the pre-sentence investigation for any of my cases? Have you talked to any attorneys or any legal professionals? And do you know my sobriety date?
That's a compound question. What do you ask?
Here it is, you're right. First, I would like to know if you spoke with anybody in the court system to say that I'm going to prison, or there's a high likelihood that I'm going to prison.
Actually, when we were in front of Commissioner Kupra, he was looking through your files and said, this one alone is 12 years.
exposure.
And he asked you at that point also, when you went to prison, where do you believe that the dog should be? And you said, with me.
Okay.
As far as your sobriety goes, I don't have a lot of faith in your sobriety in that I see you in and out of the bar regularly. Even if you're not using meth, you're still using other things. And just a few weeks ago, on, I believe I have the date written down, you pulled up in front of the Clam Falls bar. Your girlfriend who's sitting next to you got out of the bar, walked into the bar, got a drink, turned around, walked directly back out and got into your vehicle with the drink.
You witnessed this?
I witnessed that.
What kind of drink was it?
Well, and I'm going to say that part's irrelevant. What the girlfriend does is not relevant to what Mr. Hess does.
Do you have access to any of my urinalysis? Excuse me, urinalysis samples?
I do not.
Do you know how many I've taken in the last month?
I do not.
3.
You're testifying, so that's
Oh,
stricken. You
sorry.
can't
I
testify.
apologize, Your Honor. What harm has befallen Samson because he was in my care?
He was incredibly erratic. He was always on the defense because you put him in different situations all of the time. The only reason that you personally told me about this is that you were making an emotional support animal so you could take him into bars. And they couldn't tell you he couldn't be in there.
I object. That is not how I said that.
I'm overruling it. It can stay.
He would spend hours and hours sitting in your truck outside of the bar. At one point, when I did have Samson, I had taken Samson for you. You had Stephanie Fisk come and pick him up from me at my store. Several hours later, I was out on a delivery and saw Stephanie's vehicle sitting in front of the bar, with Samson still sitting in it. I had to message you, and I at that point said if she was just going to leave him sitting in front of the bar in her vehicle, there was absolutely no reason he couldn't have just stayed with me. You then called her and made her go take him home.
So I did what was right at the time.
Are you testifying or
I'm asking
her
a question. Do you think I did what was right at the time then?
Only after I said that I would go get him if you did not.
After you called me and made me aware of the situation, I did what was right for him, then you're saying? That was a question, sorry.
Probably.
So I hear you use a lot of words, erratic and stuff like that. Where did those words come from, or whose diagnosis is this?
Can I ask somebody to come up?
You may not.
Okay.
You get to have a witness testify later, but right now you are on the stand.
It's the behavior that I witnessed, that I would see. He would walk through the crowd. He was always nervous. He was always high strung. Recently, CarQuest is a place that Mike would often take Samson to, CarQuest in Frederick. I recently walked in the door with Samson, and the gal behind that works there said, "Oh my goodness, where did you get such a calm German Shepherd?" And she was petting Samson, and the owner said at that point, he said, Yeah, he's like that now. He wasn't.
Well, you can't
And I know that's
testify
hearsay.
unless you have her here to testify. That doesn't come into the record.
I guess that's all that I have.
Where do you get the information about Stephanie's landlord not allowing the animal on the property?
From him, from the landlord, from Craig Swanson.
You had mentioned before something about his insurance not covering an animal.
Well, I'm going to say none of that is relevant. Well, it could be relevant, but it's hearsay. I don't have the landlord here to testify,
Okay.
so I don't know if it's true, it's not true. I don't know what it is, and it doesn't come in.
Point made, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, let's talk about that. The final round of testimony in Michael Hess versus Rose Hutari really cemented just how emotionally and legally tangled a pet Replevin case can become. What started as a disagreement over the custody of a German Shepherd named Samson turned into a full-blown reflection on trust, recovery, responsibility, and behavior that, let's just say, was far from clean-cut. Judge Mogen held her ground, as usual, even when things veered into personal attacks, hearsay, and some serious accusations. Rose Hutari didn't just testify that Hess was unfit, she laid out why. In her view, giving Samson back would be unsafe. She cited multiple ongoing legal issues, alleged substance use, and even some colorful incidents, like Hess dumping fish guts in her business dumpster and driving by her house yelling for the dog. That's not a good look. Her argument was that Hess wasn't stable emotionally, legally, or domestically, and that his environment was chaotic enough to justify removing Samson from that setting. She painted a picture of a dog that was erratic under Hess's care, but has since become calm and settled. She also made it clear this wasn't about malice. She said she once believed in Hess, gave him Samson in hopes it would help him stay on track, and simply changed course when that trust eroded. Hess, in turn, questioned the basis of her claims, particularly around his alleged instability. He challenged her knowledge of his legal situation, his sobriety, and asked pointedly if she had any actual records or contact with legal authorities. He pushed back on her narrative, noting that she never clearly defined the conditions she now insists were attached to the original gift of the dog. He admitted to being in jail, but emphasized that jail doesn't erase your rights, and that he acted to correct things once alerted to problems, such as retrieving Samson from someone else when the dog was left in a car. He also contested Rose's use of descriptors like erratic, asking for clarification on what those terms were based on. The tension was high. This wasn't just a courtroom dispute. It was a relationship post-mortem with a dog at the center. Judge Mogen did her best to keep things orderly, repeatedly reminding both parties not to argue, interrupt, or introduce testimony from people not present. When Rose began recounting things allegedly said by a landlord or a store clerk, the judge quickly cut it off as hearsay. Same went for claims about Samson being left in vehicles. Judge Mogen made it clear, either bring the witnesses or leave the claims out. Despite the back and forth, both parties managed to keep things just within the bounds of courtroom decorum, thanks largely to Judge Mogen's firm guidance. Her focus remained fixed on the legal standards. Did Rose gift Samson to Hess? Were there clear, agreed-upon conditions? And if so, did Hess violate them? Rose maintained there were implied conditions of stability. Hess insisted those were never clearly communicated and that any mistakes didn't warrant having the dog taken without notice. At the end of the day, this wasn't just about ownership, it was about credibility. Both parties showed real emotional stakes. But in a courtroom, feelings aren't enough. What matters is evidence and the ability to prove the story you're telling. We'll see what Judge Mogen decides, but this case had all the classic ingredients: love, loss, and a very good dog caught in the middle. If you found this hearing insightful, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and letting me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one.